Okay, let's lock in. Thank you for checking this video out. In this video, the main game that I'm going to be talking about is FragPunk, and I'm going to be giving an overall synopsis of the game and my experience playing it. But before I dive into FragPunk, I want to give a little bit of information about what this game is and the niche it's trying to carve in this saturated genre known as hero shooters. So I already mentioned hero shooters, right? The main ones that come to my mind are Overwatch and Valorant. Overwatch is kind of this successor to Team Fortress 2. It takes Team Fortress 2 and kind of brings it into the modern lens. And then Valorant is kind of this offshoot of Counter-Strike with hero shooter abilities mixed in. Games now that are trying to be hero shooters or that are trying to be successful as hero shooters, they have to carve out this unique niche that separates them from these two main players in my mind. This is where I believe Concord failed, but I think both Marvel Rivals and FragPunk are going to succeed because they both have this hook to them. Marvel Rivals, of course, the hook is the superheroes, but for FragPunk, it has this really unique hook and these layers that really change the outcome of each match and make it so it does not feel repetitive. But yeah, let's get into FragPunk. It is developed by Bad Guitar Studios and it is owned by NetEase. And digging a little information on Bad Guitar Studios, they have not made any other games, so this is their first real effort. Just to get a little bit of the boring stuff out of the way, I did play this on PC. The GPU is a RTX 4070 Ti Super, and my CPU is a Ryzen 7 3800 XT, which I have been holding on for dear life. After tinkering a little bit with the settings, I actually got the game to run at a relatively stable 120 FPS. I was streaming while I was playing this game, so there was some frame drops that occurred, which can be due to me streaming. But overall, the game was really fluid and it ran well. I did not have any crashes either in my 5 hours of playtime. And also, if you're looking at the gameplay, you see that guy in the corner, the bottom left. Do not worry about him. He's completely harmless. But yeah, on to FragPunk. The playtest had two specific game modes that I checked out. It also had game modes with bots, so you can play against CPU if you want to. The game modes I played were TDM, and TDM just had one map, and you could respawn, so after you die, you do not have to wait for another round. You come back, and then you go out and get kills. And this one, I kind of see more as a warm-up to jumping into the competitive mode, which is titled Shard Clash. But yeah, in this one it's nice because all the guns are available. You can mess around with the different operators, their abilities, the different guns, get used to the recoil pattern and stuff like that of the different guns. Use the enemy as target practice to get your aim warmed up. I didn't spend too much time with TDM, but it was fun. It's a nice little addition to the game. But the thing that makes this game really special in my eyes is the Shard Clash mode. And on paper, it's really simple. You're playing as an attacker or a defender. It is round-based. So if you die in the round, you can no longer respawn and have to wait for the next round for you to come back into the battlefield. The defenders are obviously defending sites, and the attackers are trying to plant the converter at those said sites. On paper, really simple. But the thing that makes it special is before each round, both teams are voting on a set of 3 cards that can be swapped. So if you don't like what the card is, it can be swapped out. You have to spend one of your gems to swap that out. But your team has to kind of work together to pick which one they want to spend their gems on. And I think that's what makes it cool, because these cards can have a whole litany of different effects on the match. In the gameplay that I have, I am running around as Zephyr, which is a character that has an ability to become invisible. I go to one site and then I move on to the other site. I kind of rotate, and they're picking off my team, and I have to make some decisions. I use my ability. I tear down a wall that Pathogen put up to block me out, and I go in. I have context clues of where the enemy's at because they just killed one of my teammates. And then boom, they popped out. I'll let the clip play.
NANI?!
That's a little example of what makes this game fun, is the cards, the gameplay being a little bit faster, a little bit more fluid in my opinion than like a Counter-Strike, because you can actually shoot while moving, whereas in Counter-Strike or Valorant you have to be either stationary or in a crouched position to move and shoot, because you're not going to be as accurate. But the game also has a sprint, so that's another thing that separates it from its contemporaries. But yeah, so that's just one example of a round. Like I said, so you can vote on the set of cards. So that's where the economy comes into the game. You can spend your gem, or you can save it and have 2 gems in the next round. And so you can have 2 gems to spend your points on for the cards. Another way that there is economy is with the weapons. Each round you have an option to pick a primary, and if you die with that primary, it's no longer available to use in the next round. So you really have to pick and choose the weapons carefully, and you may not want to pick the weapon that you're best with in the first round just in case you die and then you don't have it anymore. So in that aspect, there is a little bit of economy in the game. But let's go back to these cards. Like I said, you can redraw them, and you can even like or dislike the card just in case you're not really happy with the card that the team chose, or if you want to signal like, oh, pick me. But yeah, these cards, like I said, they have a huge amount of impact on the match, and they can change the tides of the match for sure if you work with your team and pick a specific card. One that I am going to showcase in the video is me coming up to this doorway. An enemy peeks out and they're in a crouch position, and I'm shooting at them, but they're just deflecting all of my bullets. And at the time of the gameplay, I was like, what the heck is going on? But then I look at all the cards that I've unlocked, and I realized that they actually used one of their cards in that gunfight, and the card that they use is Blade Master. This card grants you a blade which blocks attacks coming from the front, and it only blocks attacks from above the knee. So that's why if you're in a crouch position, you're pretty much covering your whole body. There's another cool card that I seen Shroud, I believe, utilize, called Ricochet. He used it with a sniper. In his clip, he tested it out by shooting his sniper, which ricochets 3 times. And then he goes on and he gets like 4 or 5 kills using that ricochet ability, which is crazy. Yeah, so that's the unique, one of the unique aspects of Shard Clash is the cards themselves. You can have double jumps, you can have random weapon enhancements, you can have extra converters, which is the thing that you need to plant. You can have extra sights to defend. So it's really dynamic in that aspect. The second thing that makes Shard Clash really unique, how I describe this is in the playoffs, specifically the NBA playoffs, whoever wins 4 games moves on to the next round, right? So it's a best of 7 series. That's kind of the same concept in FragPunk, where in the Shard Clash game mode, if your team is in a game 7, so that means both your team and the enemy team has 3 wins, it moves into a series of 1v1 fights. So it's no longer a team-based game. It is 1v1. It's a battle of wits. It's a battle of skill. It's a battle of knowing which operator you're using and how to fully utilize it in that gunfight. It kind of is like Gulag from Warzone, from Call of Duty Warzone. It's sort of like that, where it's a 1v1 fight. But in this one, it's 1v1 to settle the match. And I think that is another really cool idea that Bad Guitar Studios is throwing at the wall. So I can't talk about the heroes. I should talk about the heroes before wrapping this all up. The main one that I played as is Pathogen, and she is a support type class that has healing abilities. She can pull up a wall, which can either be used as cover or it can be used as a way to block an enemy's flank. And she has an explosive that can be manually detonated or is detonated when an enemy walks into it. That's the main one I played as. But as I mentioned, and as you can see in the clip, I did play as a different one named Zephyr. And I said that's the main ability that Zephyr has is they can turn invisible. And they have this cool synergy within themselves where if you use one of the abilities and then you turn invisible, then you can have full invisibility. So it's not semi-invisible, it's complete invisibility. But that's if you use the skills in tandem. But yeah, that is FragPunk. And I am actually really upset that the playtest was short. It was only like 5 days. And after coming out of the playtest, I did have this feeling of, wow, I actually want to play that again. So that's a really good feeling to have coming out of a beta, that you still want to go back and play it and get better at it and learn the intricacies of the game. But yeah, that is FragPunk. And that is the end of this video. If you guys want to watch me stream, which I do on occasion, it's at twitch.tv/Subegles. I do have a show that I run on my own. It's titled Subeg's Garden. You can find that on my YouTube channel. But if not, no worries. It's all good. I appreciate you for checking this video out. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And tap in with the realm over at Lords of Gaming. Amazing content being published out there. Anyways, peace.